Yeah, I just thought, what? I just felt like we'll take that outside. Um, I just felt we showed an appropriate level of anger and um, a mindset of like a redemption Friday, just relative to the first official game performance. I was pleased to see the level of defensive intensity that we were able to sustain for probably 80% of the game, 85% of the game. We're probably able to sustain that, and that's because of the depth. What is that? Can you please turn that down? I mean, just can you just? Is that the guy in the back? Sorry, bud. Here, here we go. All right. Sorry. So anyway, now I'm thrown off completely. But yeah, I just thought it was an appropriate level of playing mad, playing angry, being embarrassed with the first game performance, and taking it out on an opponent at the defensive end of the court, which is where it all begins and ends. And it just felt good. It had been we didn't have really a game like that last year. I mean, we won some games by a considerable margin, but there was a level of dominance where this team has now told on itself relative to what it's capable of at the defensive end. Especially as we get healthier and Taris could play, more extended minutes, and as Braylon's getting closer to getting back, and Furphy. So, and I got a lot of respect for UMass Lowell. I got a lot of respect for their program. They got a lot of new guys. Pat does an awesome job. He's a great coach and a great basketball guy. I think we caught him this was a good year to play him with such a big turnover with his team. So that's it.
And you had, Jalen's taking a charge when you're up 30. You had Alec diving for a loose ball, 60 in the late in the game. I mean, is that what you're talking about, just in terms of, you've used the term foot on the gas. Do you actually use that phrase tonight, or is that even necessary? I mean,
No, I just think that there were so many reminders. I mean, there's so many things we've done the last few days with them. The video sessions were obviously crushing and long, and they went multiple days because there was so much footage of bad from New Haven. There were posters throughout the building of players not helping each other on defense. There were all types of statistics of players getting scored on and not making identity hustle plays, and then there was also a lot of talk of just what is that? Too much is given, much is expected. We invest a lot in these players to come out and perform to their absolute maximum and give everything they got. I mean, these players are very well resourced. I think they owe it to the university. They owe it to each other. They owe it to the coaching staff. They owe it to the fan base. They owe it to the donor. They owe it to a lot of people to go out and play on game night and practice every day to the absolute max for all the resources that are invested in them. So that should be every night and every practice. A player should show up and play to the level of effort that they played with tonight. That's not a one-off. If they can't provide that, I'm going to get their ass out of the game.
still waiting on Jacob and Braylon, obviously, but to have Terrace back in there, did you feel whole again?
Yeah, I mean, it helped everybody. It helped Eric's performance. It allowed Eric to kind of slide into the Donovan freshman situation where, he had a Dom out there that, paved the way, for him to be in a more comfortable position. But you could see the impact on the defense, the impact on the offense, and he was on the minutes restriction here, so we'll be able to bump that up. And I think we want to keep him at 20. Now he can go, and I'd imagine we'll extend that out another 5 to 8 minutes because he felt great, and so he makes a big difference on both ends, on the backboard. He's one of the best big guys in the country. mean, just the confidence level. And again, it's going to help Eric's performance. It's, there's still, a role for Dwayne. I mean, there's still a chance to be able to, play the three centers because they all bring different things. But he's got a big personality, and he's what he's developing into potentially. He's got a chance to become a great player this year, and it's such a critical position. And I just just him as a human being, his charisma, his personality. He's got a similar life force about him that Donovan brought to the locker room too. The guy never has a bad day, and he knows he's got a chance to become a great player at UConn, become potentially a championship player at UConn, and to become an NBA draft pick this year. So that's a lot you bring back to the lineup.
What have you seen from Silas when he pushes the pace and impacts the three guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that Silas is going to have to, I think the place for improvement. Obviously, his on-ball defense was improved today. There was a little bit of leakage there, but he's fast, and when you've got shooting and now these finishers at center and these guys on the perimeter, there's opportunities for him to get to the rim, and he's got real speed and size, and he can finish, and he could ball hawk. He's a guy that steals the ball and can disrupt, and that was impressive. I just think that probably the last stage for him is going to be just being able to make the reads in the offense, but that's going to take a little bit of time. But yeah, impressive performance, I thought, from him.
You had 7 players in double digits. What does that tell you about your offensive approach?
Yeah, I mean, the strength of this team is going to be the depth. It's I mean, we had 7 in doubles, you said, and then Jay Ross with 8 points, so you almost had 8 in doubles without Braylon playing, and no Furphy. So this is one of the deepest teams I've ever had, and you're deep at point guard, you're deep at center, you're deep on the wing. It's just we have to guard the way we guarded today. I mean, we were really good on offense because we were in transition. We weren't just trapped in the half court running stuff. It was a blend of playing off our defense and then executing in the half court. So, but the strength of this team, that's where we don't need guys to. We need players to play to the max. We don't need players to pace themselves because we need them to get 27. We don't need that from players. We need 12s, we need 14s, we need two-way players that are making winning plays on the court, playing to the max, play so hard that we need to sub you out. That we don't need anyone to save themselves because we need 30 from them and we need them to carry us on offense. We got a lot of good offensive players.
Coach, 35 points, fast break points. Is that a metric that you want to measure every game?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we struggled last year. That was the difference. With the 24 and the 23 teams, we were just so efficient in transition. I mean, when we got in transition, we were deadly. We struck. I mean, we would just strike in transition. But last year when your defense is dog shit and you're not in transition, you're not forcing the opponent to take bad shots, which turn into long rebounds, which turns into advantages. You're not getting the steals and the deflections. So yeah, I mean, we had a much better blast and push today because we were disruptive and disciplined and yeah, the running game is important because we're always going to execute in the half court.
Dan, one of those, Alex went up and came down. It looked like on his face. Was he all good? And obviously he came back in the game. But I guess what was that moment for you?
I just ran over to him and asked him, where do you think you are right now? Are you in Hartford or are you in Maui? Because remember, he hit his head in Maui last year, and the fact that was going through my mind when I went over there just speaks to my mind. He's fine.
I know you don't want to embarrass an opponent, but when they go 14 minutes, first 14 minutes without a field goal, I mean, do you almost start incentivizing, telling the guys the timeouts, anything let's shut them out, the field this half or anything like that?
I mean, you are the only thing you're saying is don't be the guy to give up the first field goal. Don't be the guy to give up the first field goal. And then, you're disappointed that you gave up 32 free throws in the game. Now, again, some of it, I'd like to, some of the second half, free throw line, things. I want to see them because I do think that like we do got to get better at walling up at the rim, and we those fouls were committed. We got to clean that stuff up. But yeah, I mean it was. It's like you got these games coming up. Columbia, beat a team, beat New Haven better than we beat them. So as far as I'm concerned, Columbia, is the Super Bowl for us on Monday night, and we've got to raise our level of intensity going into that game. I mean, we've got to be, like a pack of hungry wolves in that one, and then. You got to be able to sustain 40-minute efforts to beat teams like Columbia, and I know we have a big game after that coming up. You got to be able to sustain that for 40 minutes.
Coach, you talked about defensive improvements. Was there anyone specifically on the perimeter that you saw improvements from tonight on the defensive end?
Yeah, I want to see the film because anytime I say something positive about somebody, I regret it. But I just think that there were. There were Malachi, or I thought Malachi, just being those guys setting the tone for your defensive possession. I thought they were, they established that for us, and then just Taras. I think just those hard hedges. I mean, we were so disciplined in those hedges, and we were so active with our inside feet, inside hands, and they're really good at hitting a roller, short rolls, quick rolls, slip guys. But we were just so into the ball and so active. I thought Jay Ross was awesome defensively. I thought Jalen Stewart had good moments, but then he gets fatigued out there. I thought just like, let me tell you something. Like having a guy like Alec, like bringing in a guy like Melander. I mean, that guy, he's a real guy. I mean, he is a real guy. His floor dives, I mean, like one of our, people are going to talk about our best acquisitions. That guy's going to be, when it's all said and done, he's got a chance to be one of the best acquisitions that we brought into the program. That guy, he's a real guy. Real guy.
Do you still talk to Terrace about Bears, or does he take the right approach to every opportunity?
I mean, he's been on the pay no mind list because I don't talk to injured players. Like I don't even acknowledge them. I may fist bump them, but I really don't look them in the eyes or talk to them until they're getting close to being healthy. So, so now we'll start talking about Bears.
And you mentioned putting posters up on the wall and having long film sessions. Alex seemed after the game like he took it harder than you did. What was his approach over the last couple of days of trying to get the team together?
Well, part of it was, Alex's disappointment in himself as a leader. Like Alex, I think the room for growth with Alex is this year. I think is from a leadership standpoint. His skills are way better. He's physically stronger. He's a better player. He could play. He could play at a high level in his sleep. But you got to have a loud voice. I mean, we want him and Taras to be like the captains of the team, and I don't want to put a C on either one of them's chests unless it's actually they're carrying themselves like a captain. So I just think it was, he had 18, he played a good game, but he didn't lead, and he's got to lead these guys. He's got to set a standard. He's got to raise his voice sometimes. Young people, they just like telling each other, you're good, you're good. That's like the number one thing I hear them say to each other, and sometimes. Yeah, that's a really good thing to say about 80% of the time, but 20% of the time you need to be able to get on each other and hold each other accountable and hold each other to a standard. The best thing a friend could do for a friend is tell them the truth and be honest with them. Like when they're not playing the right way or when they're not playing hard enough and when they're not playing up to the UConn standard, like the best thing a friend could do for a friend is tell their truth, tell the truth. Tell their friend the truth about themselves, and we don't do that enough. Young people don't do that with each other enough because they're afraid. They're going to offend each other's soft ass.